Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4 KBC1. Today we would like to present to you about the language change in Malaysia regarding Bahasa Melayu. Our group members include me, Ainuti Hani binti Azhar with metric numbers 1241164. Akilah Huwaina binti Abdullah, her metric number is 1240056. Amirul Hakim bin Muhammad Khairul, his metric number is 1240057. And the last one is Ni Ahmad Al-Baki, his metric number is 1240062. This research includes an overview of the language change, the factors of the language change, how media affects the language change, and analytic form. And the last one is the conclusion. Introduction of language change. First of all, language changes over time, including Malay language. In the Malay language, the passage of time has caused this language to undergo the evolutionary process, resulting in the modern Malay language used today. These changes has affect the vocabulary, grammar, morphology, phonology, and also syntax. But there are also languages that thrive, spread, or even disappear. This study aims to determine the factors of the language change. One area where language change mostly occur in this nation, and we also employ an analysis form to get others' feedback on how Malay language has changed over the time.
Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, everyone. I will present to you guys factors of language change, which is the first one is extinct or dead language, and the second one is lexical change. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, factors or reasons of language change. First and foremost, extinct or dead language. No one or younger generations learn or use this language anymore. Okay, so what does it mean by an extinct language? An extinct language is actually a language that has been no longer used by any living speakers. This is happen often because of their own native language has not been passed down to the younger generation. So why this happen? Basically because there are, for some reasons, there is a generational gap between the younger one and the older ones, and eventually the older speakers pass out or dies before giving or teach the younger generation their original language. Okay, so point number two, dominant global language like English or Mandarin tends to overexpose to younger children that makes their original language disappear. Okay, so why does this happen? As we all know, during the um globalization, we all know that every school or education in the world uses English as a dominant language. Each school prioritize teachers teaching any subjects in English. Like in Malaysia also there is DLP, which is dual language processing, which is teachers at school teach their students in English, such as mathematics, additional mathematics, chemistry, biology, and many more. So, native languages from the younger generation are often neglected in formal education, leading children or students to use dominant language more frequently. Besides that, we all know that the media and entertainment in this world usually they usually uses English, such as TV shows, musics, or even online platforms. So, younger generations who consume this content may find English more relevant and appealing rather than their own native language. And this reduce the use of their own original language. Okay, so number three, people moving to other countries often adopt the local or national language at the place that makes them live their native language. Okay, so for example, let's say you are from Jawa, let's say at Indonesia, and then you move to another country, let's say like Australia, United Kingdom, or even at the US itself. In these countries, actually, they prioritize using English as the dominant language. So day by day, if you want to communicate by the people at the country there, you must use English, right? So you have been practicing the English a lot, and then you forget your own native or your original language itself. Okay, so for example, for extinct or dead language, the Indo-European language, Hittite and Tocharia, vanished 3,200 years ago. We can see because there is no native language that has been passed by the older generation to the younger generation, and by result the language does pass. So that is all from me for factors or reasons um of language change. Thank you. Okay, so Bismillah. The second factor or reasons why language change, which is lexical change. What does it mean by lexical change? Lexical change by mean is the addition of new words, the borrowing of terms from other languages, and the loss of certain words, or even shifts in the meanings of existing words over time by time. Okay, so what does this mean? Actually, that there are several languages that we borrow from other languages. For example, new terms such as smartphone, internet, and artificial intelligence. Okay, so people from back then, they don't use this language or these words actually. And this is actually a new created word because of the development of the technology itself. Yes, we all know that there is no artificial intelligence or AI in the past. Let's say in 1927, they don't have internet also at that day. So, within the development of the technology day by day, they create a new word which is artificial intelligence, internet, and smartphone, just like I said before. Okay, so second one, borrowing from other languages such as tsunami and karaoke from Japan. Yes, actually, we do borrow other languages to our language, such as in Malaysia, we all know that the language or the word kerusi is actually a word from Arabic, which is kursiyun. So, that is all from me, Amirul. Thank you.
Next, we would like to talk about one area where language change most prevalent in the nation, which is media sector. There are three example of it, and it is the influence of digital media, new vocabulary and neologisms, as well as code switching and code mixing.
The influence of technology and innovation has introduced significant changes to the Malay language, giving rise to new vocabulary and expression. As new concepts emerge, Bahasa Melayu adopts terms that are relevant to modern advancement, particularly in technology, social media, and also entertainment. Words such as streaming, blogging, and influencer have been seamlessly integrated into everyday language use reflecting the growing digitalization of society. Urban slang and youth language play a crucial role in this transformation. Popular media, including music, TV shows, and movies, often introduce new slang and colloquial expression that resonate with younger generation. These phrases are typically playful, influenced by trends, and rooted into youth culture. For instance, terms like gempak, meaning cool or awesome, and also santai, which translate to chill, have become widely used among the younger demographic. These changes demonstrate the dynamic and evolving nature of Bahasa Melayu as it continues to adapt to cultural and technological shifts. While this evolution enriched the language, it also highlights the ongoing blending of traditional and modern influence, shaping how Malay speakers communicate in a rapidly changing world. The rapid advancement of digital media has significantly shaped the way Bahasa Melayu was used and has contributed to its ongoing evolution. Social media platforms, messaging apps, and other forms of online communication have encouraged the adoption of more informal and casual language style. In these digital spaces, users often prefer concise and playful expressions, which has resulted in the widespread use of abbreviation and also mixed language forms. One major trend is the blending of Bahasa Melayu with English and other languages. Common phrases such as oh my god, LOL, laugh out loud, and BTW stand for by the way, are often used alongside Bahasa Melayu, reflecting now globalization and online interactions influence language use. These borrowed terms have become so common that they are now integrated into everyday communication among Malay speakers. The limitations of character counts in SMS and other net-based text-based communication have also contributed to changes in the language. To save time and space, users frequently abbreviate words. For instance, TDK replaces tidak, which means no, and also BLH is used instead of boleh, which means can. These abbreviations not only make typing faster, but also demonstrate how Bahasa Melayu adapts to this constraint of modern communication platform. Furthermore, digital media has fostered a playful and creative approach to language. New slang terms, emojis, and hybrid phrases have emerged, making Bahasa Melayu more dynamic and expressive. However, these changes also raise concern about the erosion of traditional language form and the potential loss of linguistic purity. In summary, digital media has a profound impact on Bahasa Melayu, transforming it into a more flexible and hybrid language. While this evolution reflects the adaptability of Bahasa Melayu in a digital age, it also highlights the importance of balancing modern trends with effort to preserve its cultural and also linguistic heritage.
The last example is the code switching and code mixing. One of the most significant change in the media is widespread code switching between Malay and English. So many Malaysians, especially young people, love to use word Malay and English in one sentence. They usually use this in social media posts, advertisement, or even in podcasts. So, for example, we use the sentence like jom pergi shopping, later kita makan. So, they are mixing the word Malay jom and word English shopping in one sentence. Same goes as later kita makan. So later is English word and makan is a Malay word. So they are mix it in one sentence. The second one is influence of English. English has heavily influenced the media in terms of vocabulary and expressions. We use English words in Malay language context, especially in technology and business. So for example, people who want to sell something, they will use the term viral to make their business famous or to attract people to buy their products, such as burger viral, nasi goreng viral. So the term viral is not specifically translated into Malay language.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So now we will be talking about the analysis that we have made based on the topic that we choose, which is the factors of language change. Language changes. Okay, as you guys can see in the slide, This is a bar chart that we have made based on the result that we have gathered by using Google Forms that we have shared to the community. There are 9 questions with a total of 42 respondents that are willingly to spend their time to help us. So now we move to the first question, which is how do you feel about the use of Bahasa Melayu in official and academic settings, considering the language changes? Okay, based on the bar chart that we've seen in the previous slide, there are 61.9% or 26 of people that voted for strongly agree. Okay, what we can say is that this shows us that these 26 of people agree that Bahasa Melayu is very useful in many aspects. For example, in working, in teaching, and many more. Despite the language changes that happen, it is still useful and still can be used. While the total of 38.2% or 60 people voted for agree, neutral, and disagree, and nobody voted for strongly disagree. This show, what we can say is these people think that Bahasa Melayu is not very useful for them to be used in various aspects. So, continue to the second question, which is, do you believe that the use of Bahasa Melayu in social media has contributed to the adoption of new slang terms? So, 45% or 19 of people voted for agree. The reason is because people nowadays love to add or mix language. For example, when they're talking in Bahasa Melayu, they sometimes mix it with the English word. Why? Because they think that when they're speaking like that, it makes them look like they are very cool and unique. The other reason is because they think that if they speak only in one language, it is very lame and it is very boring. So, social media has is really contributed to the new slang terms that happen in Bahasa Melayu. Okay. So we continue to the third question, which is I feel that Bahasa Melayu is losing its cultural authenticity due to the increasing use of loanwords from other languages. Okay, loanwords from other languages that we use in Bahasa Melayu, for example, is card, pencil, pen, and many more. So, a total of 77.6% or 33 of people agree with the question or the statement because this 33% have noticed that Bahasa Melayu nowadays has changed because of the loan words that are in the languages. Next, the fourth question. The use of Bahasa Melayu in popular media, for example, TV shows, movies, etc., has led to the changes in the way it is spoken by younger generations. Okay, 59.5% or 25 of people and 28.6% or 12 of people has voted for agree and strongly disagree. This is because majority of media in Malaysia nowadays intend to broadcast on only Malay dramas and some cartoons from another country with a dub version of Malay. However, there are total of 11.9% or 5 people who voted for neutral and disagree. This is because the, these people were most likely using not using Malaysian television, for example, Netflix or Unify TV. Then, the fifth question, which is in to what extent do you agree that the use of Bahasa Melayu in formal settings has remained consistent over time? Okay. 39% and 31.7% or 16 and 13 of people voted agree with this point. Why? The reason is because even after a long period of time, Bahasa Melayu is still being used as the main language in many aspects. For example, like I said before, working, teaching, speaking, and many, many more. Okay, but a total of 29.2% or 30 people says otherwise. This is maybe because the environment that they live did not reflect accordingly to the point, making them unable to fully agree with this point. Continuing with the sixth question. I think the influence of social media had a positive impact on the development of new expressions in Bahasa Melayu. Okay, 38.1% or 16 and 35.7% or 15 of people agree with this point. This is because the use of social media such as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and many more has shown that Bahasa Melayu is now accepted worldwide. Even the tourists from other countries start to learn Bahasa Melayu, learn to feel the Bahasa Melayu, learn to Bahasa Melayu. This shows that media social really has elevated Bahasa Melayu to the new level, and developed the new expressions in Bahasa Melayu. Moving on to the seventh question, which is, do you agree about the use of Bahasa Melayu in official and academic settings, considering the language changes? 71.4% or 30 of people agree with this point because these people think that Bahasa Melayu should act as the main language in many aspects. For example, people need to use Bahasa Melayu because Bahasa Melayu should be used as the main language in any action regardless of the language changes. However, 28.6% or 20 of people did not agree with this point because they think that Bahasa Melayu should not be the main language to use as in many aspects. After that, the eighth question, which is, I think it is important to maintain the traditional structure and vocabulary of Bahasa Melayu. A total of 85.7% or 36 of people agree with this point because it is very important for Bahasa Melayu to keep its traditional structure and vocabulary for the sake of future generations. However, a total of 6 people did not agree with it because they think that Bahasa Melayu is not very important to be kept, and they did not think about the future of the others. And lastly, the ninth question, which is, do you think the changes in Bahasa Melayu make it easier or harder for younger generation to learn and use the language? Okay. A total of 85.7% or 36 people choose to agree with this point because they think that changes in Bahasa Melayu nowadays is easier to learn and to be used. However, a total of 11.9% of 5 people did not agree with this statement or point or question because they think that changes that happen nowadays in Bahasa Melayu made it very hard to learn and use.
In conclusion, the Malay language has been continuously changes over time, reflecting the cultural, social, and technological dynamic of its speakers. To make it simple, change is needed to show that it's evolving and grows. But we have to keep the pureness of languages for the future generation. Thank you, and that's all from us.